Good boy, dude. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Togo. He's actually going to be with me for 3 weeks. Probably one of the main things we're going to focus on is his reactivity. But as I say to everybody who hits me up in my DMs, my dog is super reactive and I can't tell if they're dog aggressive or if they're just this. How do I fix it? How does a mechanic fix an engine? You know, it's a pretty detailed thing. It's a little bit nuanced. You can't just be like, yeah, do this. You know, typically when a dog is hyper reactive, hey Papa, what's up, dude? This is day 2. He got here last night. Shout out to Emily for trusting me with his kid, with his kid. She's very much so a woman. Yeah, so shout out to Emily for that. Housewives of Orange County, what up? To be quite honest with you, I didn't really know who she was until I kind of looked her up. Not much of a Housewives of Orange County viewer. You'll have to sue me there, but really lovely lady, really awesome lady. It was a referral from another friend of mine, Paulina Fitness. Shout out to Paulina Fitness. But it's the overall picture, it's the overall daily life, it's the overall structure, it's the overall rules and boundaries and how we're living together. There's a huge difference, you know, there's a huge difference in the balanced, obedient dog versus the dog that is giving us trouble. And that fine line is how we live together. You know, are we just existing aimlessly together with not a whole lot of, you know, clear communication and structure and rules and boundaries and all the things, the boring shit that we always talk about as pet dog trainers? Or is there a curriculum to this thing? Are there rules of engagement? Is there a specific, you know, rule set that we abide by so that there's a clearly painted picture? You know, I want this and I don't want this. I never want this, and sometimes this is okay. So, specifically getting up on the couch. I'll invite you up on the couch. Don't just jump up on there by yourself without asking, because maybe I don't want you to goose me while I'm eating. You know, so we like very clearly give that a specific command. And if I don't give you a command to jump up and be with me while I'm watching a movie, well then don't do that. You just get it, you know, we'll address that. But most of the time, there's not a whole lot of that going on. And I think, if anything, based on the conversation I had with Emily, this really hasn't been the game plan. Sleeps in the bed with her, resource guards her. Dog doesn't get to sleep in your bed if he's resource guarding you, ever. Like, it's just not, you know, and that's the tough one. That's probably the toughest one for people, because everybody has a good boy. Everybody has an emotional support dog, and he does a real good job. He's actually quite affectionate. This is day 2, and he's already coming to hang with me and stuff, you know. So that's good. We could probably get to work a little bit sooner. But, you know, if I was going to talk a little bit about what my intake process is like for board and train, for those of you dog trainers that are new and kind of just getting into this, if your focus is on relationship, you're never going to just go straight to work. You're never going to just go straight to putting pressure on a dog. Are you? Not if you're looking to really, you know, manicure a nice relationship, because at this point it's just about acclimation and familiarization. This dog just got here, doesn't know his ass from his elbow. I need him to acclimate, get used to his environment, get used to the guy that's going to be handling him, and then, you know, we'll proceed forward. And time frame depends on the dog. You know, this guy right here is already showing signs of confidence around me. He's coming over to me if I ask him to come over to me and let me pet him, and seemingly enjoying it. So we could probably get to work a little bit sooner than if it was a dog that was sketched out and skept. You know what I'm saying? And that dog is going to dictate to me, you know, when it's time. And it's pretty clear, if you're a dog trainer and you've got any sort of experience at all, the dog is the one that dictates when it's time to actually go to work, but not a minute before then. And it's not such a bad thing. You know, you get a dog that's super sketched out like that in a new environment. What happens is they learn to adjust, they learn to acclimate to a new environment, and in my particular opinion, I believe that to be a healthy process, because the dog might have to go somewhere and be someplace else. boarding facility, you want to go on vacation, you finally found Team Floppy Ears so you can go enjoy yourself. You might need to go to the veterinarian where the dog needs to be left there by themselves without you. So you give them an opportunity, you give them the ability to adapt and to adjust to a new environment. And they realize, hey, I was sketched out for a couple of days, but this dude was really cool and didn't put no pressure on me, kind of let me just enjoy the pastures and have a good time and sniff around for the first couple of days. And I realized I didn't have anything to be nervous about at all. Matter of fact, it's a pretty cool experience. And so you take that knowledge and you start giving your dog even more opportunities to go places and acclimate and to adjust. Your friend's house, you leave for a couple of minutes. You're just looking to create a little bit more of an independent dog so that, they don't have these like super sketched out, anxious, bad frame of minds when they have to go someplace else, So just being here, I always say to people, for the board and train thing, if they're worried about their dog like missing their owners, which isn't really a thing, they're very in the moment animals. They're just kind of like checking out what they have going on in front of them. They're not so much dwelling on what's happening back there. It's a good thing. It's a good, healthy thing, and it's a good opportunity. If nothing else, your dog gets that experience, and that's why I always say Team Floppy Ears board and train programs are always a one-of-a-kind experience for you and your dog. Very exclusive. I live here. I built this from absolutely nothing. It's a very intimate, a lot of passion goes into this, a lot of thought, and most importantly, a lot of mileage, a lot of experience. I've been doing this quite some time, and I'm always open to learn new things, but at this point, I definitely got the way I do shit. And I don't know how else am I supposed to put that? If I pick up on a little trick or a little something, if a dog teaches me something new, I might tweak the program just a little tiny bit. But at the end of the day, it always depends on what that dog's throwing out at me, And truth is, sometimes I do learn new things because a dog is going to show me a little something different from time to time. And I could actually appreciate that, so I could add another tool to my toolbox. I got a lot of beautiful, amazing friends in this industry, so if I get stumped, I could reach out to somebody and be like, hey man, I've been doing this a long time, and I know you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever seen something like this? This is crazy. And then they'll be like, yeah man, try this, and I'll be like, all right, always looking to do whatever it takes, get the best possible results, but in the most appropriate possible way. Nothing to damage relationship. A lot of people out there doing a lot of heavy-handed shit, getting results. That don't help no relationship. Oh, but the dog's behaving, Chad. I know, but your dog's afraid of you. Is that that's what you want? That's not what I want. I'm not talentless. I'm not lazy. And so we go about it might take a little bit longer. We're not afraid to put a little pressure on a dog, do physical care. We're not afraid to do that, but the dog is going to dictate how much pressure we put on them or don't. And that's just the way it goes. Teaching the dogs first, layering in physical corrections after the fact. So this is what we're going to be doing. He has a serious dog reactivity issue. I like to call it a habit. It's a bad habit of his. We're gonna try to break him out of it. I'll build my relationship with him first. Probably going to use Rosie first and see what he really is about. Like I always say to people, if it's not a pit bull dog, not really as worried about dog fighting. And besides, if I use my girl, she'll piece him up, teach him that he didn't want to do that to begin with. Of course, I'll tell her to stop. And at worst, they have a little scratch or something, nothing to even have to go to the vet over. Now, obviously, all this is really calculated. I have a lot of good instinct, and the goal is for there to be not a skirmish, but just to warm him up. We're probably going to use Rosie, get him around dog, maybe try to see what he does in that particular context. It's probably going to change once we get him out into the world, and because it's a different look. A lot of dog trainers will show they'll show the dog at their facility, working around. I always talk about this because it's funny that these dog trainers think that these owners are stupid, and a lot of them are, no offense. How the fuck are they supposed to know any better? But it's about giving the dog a different look, a real life look. This isn't real life. We're at my facility with nothing fucking happening, a dog just sitting in a down. That's not the same energy as a dog walking by down at the shops. It's a completely different look. those dogs are going to be begging for a fight. What are we going to do then? Definitely a different look from my dog just being in a down. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't be too like, wow, if the dog that was normally reactive isn't reactive to this same look that they've been getting over and over again. Give them a different look, then we'll talk. So anyway, this video is pretty boring. Not a lot of actual training going on, but that's because this is where we're at in the process. We're fucking hanging out, doing nothing. That's it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't really know what's going to be next. I got my computer that needs to be fixed. So if you're watching this video right now, that means I got it fixed. Kind of a super inconvenience being how busy I am. I got to drive all the way to frickin' Irvine. Anyway, like and subscribe. Captain Togo, Housewives of Orange County.